Spurgeon here with RevZilla, and in this video we're going to break down the Schuberth C3 Lite helmet available at RevZilla.com. So on the table in front of me I have two different helmets. The new one is the white one. This is the C3 Lite. Over my left hand side, this is the current C3 Pro, and what we're going to do in this video is we're going to walk you through the features of the C3 Lite and talk about exactly what you're giving up to get into this helmet over the top of the line C3 Pro. So really, first and foremost, almost everything is going to be identical aside from a few key features. Now this is still going to be that fiberglass Dyneema composite shell, that strong shell if you will, two shell sizes, DOT rated, and the important note there is that moving forward from 2018 on, all Schuberth helmets in America are only DOT. They are no longer carrying the ECE rating in the American market. So just keep that in mind. There is no difference between these two when it comes to the safety rating. 3 pounds, 9 ounces in a large when we're looking at the C3 Lite, and it is an intermediate oval shell. So a little bit longer front to back, a little bit narrower on the side of the head. It's not going to be that round oval like we saw from the old C3. This is going to utilize the new C3 Pro shell. So the price point on this helmet is $400. Really, Schuberth is looking to give their folks that want to get into a Schuberth helmet a more affordable entry-level helmet, and that's going to be the C3 Lite that you're going to see right here. So the question is, what are you giving up? Because the C3 Pro is coming in around $630. So, for that $230 difference, getting down into the C3 Lite, what are those key Schuberth features that you're going to be, sacrificing? So first and foremost, decibels. What Schuberth is telling us is that the new Lite is about 2 decibels louder with allowing wind noise and road noise through than the Pro. So you're looking at about 84 decibels of noise versus 82 decibels. The only thing I'll say there, because we get this question all the time, is, how do they measure this? It's in a wind tunnel, in a closed environment. So really, depending on the kind of conditions or the style of your motorcycle, the windshield you're using, that's really going to be hit or miss. So as far as the decibel level goes, they're both going to be quiet helmets, but are you going to be able to notice the difference between 2 decibels? Probably not. The reason that this is going to be a little bit louder is that the vent is less aerodynamic. This is going to utilize the old C3 vent, and you'll notice that on the C3 Pro, it's just a little bit more of an aerodynamically designed vent to kind of cut down on that. But both are going to have the same aerodynamic face shield on this. What you are going to sacrifice, while both face shields are pin lock ready, the C3 Lite does not include a pin lock insert in the box. You're going to spend about an extra $45 to get into that. So considering that, you're now up around a $440 price point. If you went ahead and added this in, you're still just shy of a $200 difference. So for me, really, if I'm looking at these two helmets side by side, I think the C3 Lite, saving yourself the coin getting into this, would probably be the way to go. The only other real difference you might notice is that Schuberth is telling us that there's a slight difference in the interior on this, and that this is not going to be nearly as comfortable, but I think that we're splitting hairs a little bit. And if it were up to me, I'd probably be considering the C3 Lite if I was really looking at getting into a Schuberth helmet. Now, like I said, all the rest of the features are going to be the same. So you do have the drop-down sun visor, which is going to be actuated over on this side right here, little switch at the base. You are going to have the intake vents at the chin and then the intake vent up top. The only thing you're not going to see on this helmet, and you'll notice it on both the Pro as well as the C3 Lite, there is no exhaust vents. So once that air gets in there, it really doesn't have anywhere to escape to. One of the nitpicks that I do have with Schuberth in general. But for those of you that are looking at getting up into a modular helmet, Schuberth has always been, a top pick leading the pack. And as we take a look at the inside of this, really it is that modular design. Now the one thing I will note is whether you're using this in the open or the closed position, you'll notice these little, actually you can see it even better right there. You have these little things that almost look like eyebrows above the face shield, and that's actually blacked out reflective. So you do get a little bit of reflective at the front of the helmet. So taking a look at the inside of this, like I said, the interior is a little bit different. It's not quite as premium as what we're seeing with the Pro version, but you have the same features as far as the neck roll, which connects to the actual cheek pads. And to get these out, the ratcheting system is a bit of a bear. It kind of runs through a couple of different loops. So just keep that in mind. And then you'll also notice that as we pull this out, and again, it's a little bit tricky to get it through both of the loops, there's also these additional loops that run into the cheek pads just to kind of hold everything into place. And then Schuberth does this unique design where everything is connected. So the neck roll is connected to the cheek pads, and the cheek pads are actually snapped into place to the top liner. It's kind of like the, you know, the ankle bone is connected to the shin bone kind of a deal, but the whole thing kind of pops out in one big piece. And you can remove that, you can separate it when you want to clean this, but you'll notice that it all comes out in one large swoop there. And again, these additional straps will run back into the cheek pads when you put it in. You can see that even though there's no exhaust vents, there are going to be the cutaways on the inside to allow that air to actually push out, but it really has nowhere to go. So again, like I said, just having those exhaust vents to help the airflow through would be something I'd love to see from Schuberth, but I'm pretty sure the reason they don't do that is it helps with the whole wind tunnel design and keeping the sound down, those lower decibels that they were talking about. You are going to have the pre-cutouts for the speaker pockets. So again, same thing that we saw with the C3 Pro. You can add the comm system there. But like I mentioned earlier, if it was me and I was really looking at these two helmets, I would probably go ahead and save myself the $230 difference between the C3 Lite at $400 and the $630 C3 Pro, and use that money to invest in a comm system. You know, I don't know if the extra add-ons you're getting with the C3 Pro are really enough to get me to bump up to there at this point. I really am excited to see what Schuberth has done with the C3 Lite and really making this helmet more accessible to a wider market by introducing this around that $400 price point. But there's a lot of folks out there that are already utilizing Schuberth, and if you have any additional questions, what I'd recommend doing right now is reach out to one of our gear geeks who can help break the helmet down a little bit further, 877-792-9455, or shoot one of them an email at cs@RevZilla.com. I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the Schuberth C3 Lite. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.